guys. In this video we're going to differentiate BJT, FET and MOSFET. We have the BJT, JFET and MOSFET. So coming to the first point in differentiating these three, we know that BJT is a current controlled device and JFET is a voltage controlled device. And MOSFET is also a voltage control device, as it is in the case for JFET. And we know the two types of BJT are NPN and PNP. These are the types that we have discussed in the earlier videos, right? The types of BJT, NPN and PNP. We have discussed the formation of these transistors too. So the two types of JFET are N-channel and P-channel JFET. We have discussed about these two types of JFETs in the earlier videos. And the two types of MOSFET we already know are the enhancement and depletion MOSFETs. When coming to BJT, these are difficult to fabricate. The BJTs are difficult to fabricate, and when coming to JFETs, the fabrication is easy. And the thing about MOSFETs is that the fabrication is even more easier when compared to JFETs. More easier. BJTs have low input impedance, whereas JFETs and MOSFETs have high input impedance. We are aware of the fact that BJT is a bipolar device, and both the JFET and MOSFET are unipolar. BJTs have low switching speed, JFETs have high switching speed, whereas MOSFETs have normal switching speed, that is greater than BJT and less than JFET. In BJT, we have the conduction due to both majority and minority charge carriers, both. In JFETs, the conduction is only due to majority charge carriers. And the conduction in MOSFET is also due to majority charge carriers. The BJTs produces less signal distortion, whereas JFETs produce more signal distortion, and the MOSFETs have no signal distortion. That is, the signal distortion is almost zero in the case of MOSFETs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. That could be a detailed answer for any question asking about differentiating between BJT, FET and MOSFET. In the first point, we have stated that the BJT is a current control device and JFET and MOSFET are voltage control. In the second point, we have discussed the types of BJT, JFET and MOSFET. And in the case of BJT, we have NPN and PNP, two types of BJT, and in the case of JFET, we have two types, N-channel JFET and P-channel JFET. When coming to MOSFET, we have enhancement MOSFET and the depletion MOSFET. Talking about the fabrication, BJT is difficult to fabricate, whereas JFET is easy and MOSFET is much more easier than JFET. Input impedance, when coming to input impedance, we have BJT with low input impedance and JFET and MOSFET having high input impedances when compared to BJT. We already know that the BJT is a bipolar device. We know why it's called a bipolar device, because it depends on the both majority and minority charge carriers, which is what we have stated in another point. And the JFET and MOSFET are unipolar. When coming to the switching speed, in the next point we have BJT with low switching speed, JFET with high switching speed, and MOSFET has normal switching speed. It is higher than BJT and lesser than JFET. It is in between these two. It's normal. Sorry. And as stated when talking about the bipolar device thing, we know that the BJT depends on both majority and minority charge carriers, whereas FET and MOSFET depends only on majority charge carriers. And coming to the last point, we have BJT. It produces less signal distortion, and the JFET produces more signal distortion, and on the other hand the MOSFET produces no signal distortion, almost zero signal distortion in the case of MOSFET. So that's all about the differences between BJT, JFET and MOSFET. It is as tabulated here. Thanks for watching.